The headlines. 6 abducted UniJos students regain freedom, 1 still in captivity. National Judicial Council probes 7 judges, dismisses petitions against Odili, 25 others. As the world marks World Desertification and Drought Day, experts say Africa loses $43 billion to food imports. And on the international scene, Ugandan police and military says militants killed 25 people, abduct others in attack on school. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. And now the news in detail. We begin with security, where the Plateau State Police Command has rescued 6 out of the 7 students of the University of Jos kidnapped by gunmen on Monday. DSP Alfred Alabo, the police public relations officer of the command, disclosed this in a statement on Friday in Jos. According to Alabo, 5 of the students were rescued, while 1 escaped from the kidnappers' den unharmed. He said that the Commissioner of Police in the state, Bartholomew Onyeka, has ordered the area commander, Metro, and the divisional police officer, Nasarawa Gwang, to ensure that the 7th victim is rescued unhurt and the perpetrators arrested. The victims are abducted from their hostel located off campus on Monday night in Jos while preparing for their 2nd semester examinations. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Ibadan Zonal Office has arrested a staff of Federal Medical Center Idiaba in Abeokuta, Ogun State, and 47 others for alleged involvement in internet fraud. The statement signed by the Commission spokesperson Wilson Owujuren said that the suspects were arrested on Wednesday following intelligence on their alleged fraudulent activities. He said that the items recovered from the suspects include 7 exotic vehicles, several mobile phones, laptops, and Apple wristwatches, among others. He said the Oyo State Command of the Nigerian Police also arrested and handed over a cybercrime suspect to the EFCC. The National Judicial Council has okayed the probe of 7 judges accused of engaging in sundry acts of corruption. This decision was taken by the council, which is statutorily empowered to discipline erring judicial officers in the country. In a statement signed by the NJC, Director of Information, Soji Oye, revealed that the judicial officers are from the Court of Appeal and State High Courts. The council said it considered reports from various investigation committees and the preliminary complaints assessment committees on petitions written against 33 judicial officers from both the appellate and the high courts, and agreed with the recommendation of the committee that the 7 judges have questions to answer. The NJC, however, dismissed petitions against 26 others, among whom includes a retired Justice of the Supreme Court, Mary Peter Odili, for lack of merit, diligent prosecution, withdrawal of the petition, being sub judice, and for the subject's job having retired from service. Kaduna State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal is set to begin hearing in the petition challenging the election of Governor Obasani as it concludes pre-hearing session. Obasani has asked the 3-man panel tribunal to dismiss the petition filed by the PDP governorship candidate Isa Ashiru due to procedural errors. The report.
In a motion for dismissal before the 3-man panel headed by Justice Victor Ovuawi, counsel for Obasani Bayo Ojo-san argued that the petition, having suffered incurable procedural error, is deemed abandoned by laws guiding petition adjudication. Ojo cited several legal authorities in his written address, especially decided cases of the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal.
We brought an application that the petition is incompetent, and also the pre-hearing notice issued by the petitioners in the PDP case is also incompetent. So that's what we had this morning and afternoon.
Why you say the petition is incompetent?
Because it was found out of time. The law allows you 21 days and they filed outside 21 days. And the law says once you do that, the petition is gone. And also the law gives time within which for you to file your pre-hearing notice. They also didn't do that. So we pointed that to the court. That's what we did.
Counsel for the People's Democratic Party and its candidate Samuel Atung opposed the application. The petitioners' counsel insisted that a competent application for the issuance of pre-hearing notice was made.
What transpired today was a continuation of the pre-hearing session, which to the glory of God has been concluded. Yes, those applications are still pending. They've reserved ruling. They are going to communicate dates for the rulings, maybe in the course of the hearing. You know, the provisions of the Electoral Act as to when ruling in preliminary objections will be delivered is to the effect that it can be taken together with the judgment.
The tribunal will communicate date to the councils for hearing. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
World Desertification and Drought Day has been marked with calls for investment in equal access to land and associated assets to guarantee a prosperous future for humanity. The sensitization walk on tree planting campaign in Abuja also made a case for women and girls to be at the forefront of global and land restoration and drought resilience efforts. Noel Sampson reports.
The effect of desertification and drought can be the greatest threat to sustainable development, especially in developing countries, but increasingly so in developed nations too. In fact, it is estimated that by 2050, drought may affect over 3/4 of the world's population. Hence, the commitment of the government in order to help stop desertification.
We are mainly focused on in the northern part of the country, and we have so many programs to address desertification in the north and the middle belt of Nigeria, because the desertification is encroaching towards the middle belt, and we have set up programs to address this program, all these challenges and the Great Green Wall, for instance, is one of the programs we have set up to address the problem in the level frontline states mostly affected by desertification.
Over the years, because it's an annual event for us, like we started today, and we'll continue through the weeks and maybe problem months. And statistically, we've planted over 250 trees in Abuja, and you can really see the whole environment of Abuja is quite green.
The government have been urged to make policies that help stop desertification by granting equal access of land to women just like men.
When there are issues generally, globally, women are marginalized. Women are the worst affected, the worst impacted by issues. We have discriminatory policies against women that denies women access to own the land. So what the government can do basically is to ensure that they review all policies as it relates to women, to ensure that women have equal access as men to own a land.
Due to the inevitable loss of vital land, Africa has spent more than $43 billion on annual food imports, and farmers are losing out on profits. Because of these consequences, it is smaller farmers and households that have suffered the most. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Farmers in Galga community of Ganjua local government area of Bauchi state are worried that fuel subsidy removal is affecting farming activities. Khalid Muhammad, a young farmer among many others, shares his fears on the situation. Adamu Imam has the report.
Fuel price hike has pushed transport fares high in Bauchi, thereby affecting prices of virtually everything. Many farmers express fears that even if bumper harvest is recorded this year, price of food items may go up owing to fuel price hike, which already has pushed transport fares high, and this will reflect in transporting farm produce.
Transporting material and theirself to the farm is the major challenge, because a farm that you can transport yourself and your material and the farm produce, seed and other things to the farm. Actually, a farm that you can spend like 2,000 to and fro to the farm and going back home it will reach like 2,000. But actually, nowadays, 4,000, 5,000 cannot be sufficient for you. So this is the really challenge.
Mohammed narrates how the subsidy removal forced his neighbor to abandon his plans for this year's farming season.
He is a Fulani man and he traveled with his cows. So the issue of the challenges of fuel subsidy affected his traveling for him to come back and plant. So this what affected him, but he came back yesterday.
Others said fertilizer and agrochemical sales agents are also not helping the situation. Fuel price has affected us seriously in terms of supply of farm implements, especially sprayer, seeds, and fertilizer. All these are not cheap. The price has gone up. We cannot continue like before. We have reduced the size of our farmlands. Before, we used about 20 to 30 bags of fertilizer, but now hardly we get 4 to 5 bags at a time. For instance, the price of urea fertilizer is coming down, but the price of golden NPK keep on increasing since last year. So we are appealing to the government to look inward and salvage us from the situation we are in. Government announced fuel subsidy removal to free up resources for the critical sector of the Nigerian economy. Adamu Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Electricity consumers in the ancient city of Katsina are groaning over frequent blackouts with resultant damages to many perishable goods. Abdullahi Yamadi has details of the report.
Electricity consumers in Katsina City in the past 5 months have not enjoyed uninterrupted electricity supply for 3 to 4 hours. Residents said the situation caused untold hardship to many owners of small and medium enterprises and other business owners.
No light to power the country. We don't know what. In short, Nigeria is just like that. It's not in chain, it's there. No one like myself.
3 days now. Light no day. They bring it, they carry it. They bring it, they take it away. No light at all. If you open fridge now, nothing cold there. People have not done it.
In fact, we are suffering much. There is no light. There is no hope now because if there is no light, there is no market. If there is light, then we can sell, but no light, no market. Now, since the day before yesterday, there is no light now. Okay. So, we pray that Tinubu will bring better change.
Many consumers have now resorted to another source of energy despite the rising cost of fuel, at least for their businesses to survive.
So we are dealing with metal construction, and the only challenge we have about the electricity in Katsina State entirely is that we are not having constant electricity. Sometimes we have to wait for a long time before we see power to do our work. But we are appealing to government to come to our aid so that they can rescue us. If we can have constant power supply, at least even our production will increase, then the price of goods will also decrease. Because if there is constant power, you cannot be spent much on diesel and the fuel.
The Katsina North District Manager of KEDCO said the frequent blackouts in Katsina City is because of some technical faults from Shiroro end, which their engineers are working to fix on or before Saturday.
Our allocations before the incidents, averagely we are getting 220 to 250 megawatt, and that just line cannot accommodate 200. The only load that it can carry is around 90, at most 95. Definitely, there must be serious shortage.
The residents are, however, hopeful that the authorities will restore normalcy in electricity supply. Abdullahi Yamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break. We take a look at marital rights of Anyoma community. Do stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us on Trust News Update. A recap of our top stories. 6 abducted UniJOS students regain freedom, 1 still in captivity. We also told you that National Judicial Council probes 7 judges, dismisses petitions against Odili, 25 others. Moving to other news, some Lagos State residents hail President Bola Tinubu for signing the Students' Loan Bill into law to assist students from poor backgrounds pursue higher education. Other residents asked members of the 10th National Assembly to support the president to rebuild the country and rejuvenate the economy. Abbas Alibi has details.
Students and parents are with the Student Loan Act, which they believe will improve the education sector in the country. Ike Anobi Ajibola is a mother who is very glad and very happy with the student loan. It will really help our children. President has taken the right step and we know him for good action since when he was a governor here in Lagos. We will continue to pray for him so that he will do more to us and our country. Nafisat Suleiman Yetunde is a student, and she said that the bill will improve the education of many vulnerable students.
It will help my fellow students, it will help them put full responsibility in their education aspects, where some of them lose focus in class, some of them don't even come to school regularly because they are finding one way or the other to pay their school fees, to make ends meet in school. So with this loan that this government has approved, most of our students will acquire this loan, use it to settle for school fees, use it to settle for school bills, use it to settle for school payments, and they'll be able to focus more on activities in school, partake in more activities in school, focus on their studies, so they'll be able to achieve the main aim of them coming to school.
She also urged the government to provide more opportunities for students so that they could be able to pay back the loan after their study. Some Lagos residents call on members of the 10th National Assembly to support the president on his effort to make life better for Nigerians. Ismail Ogamboye wants the lawmakers to formulate laws that will help improve agriculture, education, healthcare, and security. Also provide opportunities for teaming youth who are now jobless. We are praying that God will support the members of the 10th National Assembly as we also urge them to give support to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in his effort to make life better for all Nigerians. President Tinubu signed the student law bill on Monday, June 12, as part of his election promises. Abbas Ibrahim Alibi, Trust TV, Lagos.
All right, moving away from that story to the Anyoma tribe of Delta State, who, like most Nigerian tribes, marriage is more than just the union of two individuals. It is the union of families and their ancestors. Jonathan Awaye tells us more on traditional marriage rites of the Anyoma people.
Traditional marriage among the Anyoma people of Delta State is held at a very high esteem and considered as one of the highest honor a child could possibly give to his or her parents. Every parent looks forward to a blissful, happy and rewarding married life for their children, especially so, as marriage is a socio-cultural responsibility expected of every young adult and a veritable tool in laying foundation of our strong families for a stable society. In Anyoma, any lady upon readiness for marriage is expected to formally introduce her suitor to her parents. Thereafter, a date is fixed for Ikwaka, also known as introduction, which particularly provides a platform both families exchange knowledge, thus tend to become familiar with them or just plant the idea within them that a marriage may soon take place.
Bottle of hot drink, cola nuts, and palm wine to come and inquire about the girl. The second one, which is the official introduction, also require just one bottle of whiskey, one crate of drink, and of course palm wine, depending on your capacity as a man. Then the third one that involves the larger family will not be more than 10 crates of drinks. And the traditional marriage again will not be more than 10 crates of drinks and food.
After the Ikwaka, marriage expectation become very high, but what happens is that a list containing the necessary requirements, such as a particular sum of amount for the eguisi and dowry, is issued to the groom. There is, however, no fixed amount as bride price. In the process of Igbo traditional marriage, the bride price is debated and accepted. It ranges between 50 naira and 100,000 naira, depending on families involved.
A gene, which is called kai kai, then cola nuts, then you support it with some amount of money, which you call the wujin or the cola nut in my area. Then they will not tell you, we are not selling our daughter, but this is what we need from you as an amount you will pay.
The process of bride price is simple, where the man will ask the guy, how much do you have? I'm not selling my daughter, I am giving her to you for marriage purposes, which is, of course, to bear grandchildren for both families.
Items for traditional marriage includes cola nuts, palm wine in gallons, jerry can, bottles of hot drinks, tubers of yam, cartons of assorted drinks, soft drinks and beer, tobacco snuff and cash.
A beautiful culture there. Now we'll move to the foreign scene, where militants linked to Islamic State have killed 25 persons and abducted some others in an attack on a school in western Uganda near the border with the Democratic Republic of Congo. Police authorities say the assailants attacked Hubirira Secondary School in the western border town of Pondwe late on Friday, burning a dormitory and looting food. Authorities further stated that so far, 25 bodies have been recovered from the school and transferred to Bwera Hospital. And finally, in sports, the Nigerian National League has banned Joy Cometh coach Jide Oguntuashe for 4 matches. Oguntuashe was banned for his deliberate attempts to distract their NNL final fixture against Ijebu United. The NNL Disciplinary Committee also banned the club's general manager, Segun Ajiroba, who was the second offender in the incident. The incident occurred at the Otumba Dikbo Dino Stadium, Ijebu-Ode, last week. Joy Comets are also fined 1 million naira for abandoning the match. Ijebu United were awarded the winners of the match with 3 points and 3 goals. And with that, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.